Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for Ignite Your Marketing in partnership with the I2C over at UAH. They are an amazing organization doing awesome things here in North Alabama. So we are thrilled that you're tuning into their podcast. And we are even more thrilled that we get a chance to hang with you for the next couple of podcast series where we're going to be talking about different marketing and public relations tips that will help your business grow. So this is Ignite Your Marketing, the first of many, many sessions that we will be doing over the next few weeks. So please be sure to take some notes and reach out to us if you have any questions whatsoever. We'd be more than happy to help. So just to give you first a little shout out, kudos to you for taking the time to join us today. Hopefully you find this informative as you are on the treadmill or taking your dog for a walk or even just driving into work. We've got a lot of great things to cover off on today and we're stoked that you're here to join us. So just to give you a little bit of background on who we are, again, my name is Megan Nivens-Tannett. I am the CEO and founder of Flourish, which is a woman-owned small business here in North Alabama. And we are a strategic growth partner for businesses of all sizes, whether they're startups, medium-sized businesses, large businesses, nonprofits, you name it. Bottom line, we love to work with individuals and their organizations to help them develop a growth path. And what typically encompasses that includes things like digital strategy and social media and website development, lots of public relations, anything that falls under the marketing and communications umbrella is what we do. We very much have a work hard, play hard mentality. So being part of our team has been such a phenomenal journey for me personally. We just love what we do. It's been awesome. So I hope that we ever get a chance to collaborate with you at some point down the future. So we're going to talk a little bit about a couple different things today, but primarily about how to ignite your marketing. And so we're going to talk with a few high-level topics first and foremost. One, the importance of your brand. Second, the importance of how to actually bring your business online. And then lastly, we're going to finish up with which social media platform is right for you. So this just really helps to skim the surface of a couple of these really important things with the intent of us having a little bit of a deeper dive into those individual sessions as we progress throughout this workshop series. So I love this quote by Jeff Bezos. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So as a small business owner or entrepreneur, it's extremely important that you align who you are, what people perceive you to be, and what people get to know you for as you start to build your business. And so if you are an accounting expert, you want people to think about you when they determine that they have an accounting need or a challenge that they're facing and they just don't know where to go. So this is all about personal branding. Branding encompasses the way that you represent yourself in person, online, through your website, on social media, what your logo looks like, how you communicate, if you have a little bit more fun in SaaS when you're communicating with others, or if you're very professional and a little bit more rigid. Not that there's a bad thing to that, but it all depends on the industry and the persona that you're trying to build. So this is all tying into your brand. So who are you? This is really what a brand helps you to define and others to truly understand about who you are and what your subject matter expertise is. So a couple of benefits to having a strong personal brand. Number one, it elevates your message. Again, if we think about who I am and who our company is, Flourish, whether it's me talking or any of our colleagues talking about different areas of expertise that they are really, really good at, we want people to get to know us for the services that we offer. So we are always giving great tips and value around different types of marketing and public relation tactics. And so we're always elevating that message in front of the right audience at the right time. So we're building the brand around getting people to know and align Flourish with marketing and communications. You need to do the same for you. Having a strong personal brand also strengthens your organization. So as you start to build your company, as you start to recruit, as you start to pursue business development opportunities, ensuring that you have a very strong personal brand around what it is that you're trying to promote is huge and is only going to strengthen your company from the inside and out. It also helps to broaden your network because people, again, get a chance to know you for that skill set that you want to be aligned with. You also are able to become the status quo, which I love this so much. So if, let's say, for example, if I'm an accounting expert and I am always publishing and putting out really great, high quality, informative information, I'm setting the bar for other accounting professionals in this industry to also do the same. And you want other potential competitors to look at you and say, wow, they're totally kicking butt. I need to be doing what they're doing. You're elevating the bar. You're setting the status quo. That way you're setting a right expectation, not only for yourself, but in your industry, which really helps to lend credibility to who you are as an individual and who you are as a brand. Having a strong personal brand also allows you to unveil new clients, customers, partners, and ultimately new avenues for monetization. So even though you may have an accounting practice and you want to promote the services that you have, you may find that by doing so and doing so often, that you're able to generate a lot of interest from an audience that you didn't even really think about. So perhaps then what you can do is spin off and do a workshop series that you have a subscription service for, or you're publishing different documentation or checklists or things that folks find informative. So it allows you to really put your message out there. And as long as you keep yourself open, it will open up doors for you as far as new business development opportunities. So keep that in mind. So a couple of examples of what I personally feel strong brands really represent are these three individuals here. And I would venture to say that you, without a doubt, can recognize them, but you may not know all of their names. So we'll start with the queen of all queens on the left-hand side, Miss Oprah Winfrey. She has done such a phenomenal job at creating her brand and establishing herself against the core values that she truly believes in. When you think of Oprah, there are a lot of emotions and a lot of things that just the sheer thought of what she represents elicit. So she's all about self-help and finding the greater path for yourself and empowering somebody from within by believing in who they are and really encouraging individuals to be the best version of themselves that they can be. You also have someone like Richard Branson, who has become known in the airline industry as being this go-getter entrepreneur, take risks, super casual yet very professional, making these big risky moves that people are always eyeballing and just wondering what he's going to do next. But at the same time, he's a huge humanitarian and gives back to, local area community and has just done such amazing things throughout his career, and definitely one that I admire from afar. And last but not least, this is probably number one on my list recently, is Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V. Such a cool guy, total, just breath of fresh air, but man, does this guy know his stuff. And he's so smart and he just gives away his knowledge left and right, but he does so with a huge dose of humility, which I love so much. So he doesn't try to be somebody that he's not. He's just authentic and honest, but he's just amazing. And as you look at these individuals and you think about the commonality behind them, what do all of these brands have in common? So you recognize them. They're very well known. You can find them anywhere, whether it be online, in a magazine, written up in the New York Times or Forbes magazine, all these different places. And you recognize them and you think about them as a brand when you look at them. They also align themselves with a purpose, as we mentioned earlier. So they're known for something and they've built a career and their brand around the core message that they are trying to promote. So again, Oprah's core message, not that we could just nail on just one, but if we were to pick just one, she's really about empowerment and believing in yourself and digging down deep inside you to find those passions and skills that will really help to fuel the path that your life takes you on. Same thing with Gary Vee. He is all about the hustle. The hustle is his thing, which I love so much because he really pops that balloon of thinking that you've got to have everything perfect and nailed down before you can actually take the jump into the startup world. And so he really aligns himself with that type of mentality. And what you see is what you get, which I love. Also, these individuals, because of their strong brand, people look to them for guidance. They look to them in industry to sort of mirror those best practices that they have been talking about. And because they're trusted sources. So as you build your own personal brand for your business, think about these types of things. How can people find you? What do you want them to think about when they see you? How are you representing your brand across all platforms, whether it be print, digital, you name it? Because every single place where you are and your company is is a reflection of your brand in some form or fashion. So one of the things that really helps to get your brand going is to nail down your elevator pitch. So we have a couple different tips here on how you can perfect the pitch. So there's just a few steps here that I would strongly recommend that you think about. And this is, again, back in the day before we were all sort of stuck to our Zoom and Teams meetings, when we were out at a cocktail event at the I2C, or doing something in conjunction with the chamber or the Catalyst or whatever other networking event that you're part of. This is a great way to test out your elevator pitch. And if you can't nail it in a very short, succinct sentence and it needs further explanation, then you are doing something wrong. So by following some of these steps, this is really going to help you perfect what that pitch looks like. So who are you? Write a sentence about yourself. You might introduce yourself as a consultant to small business owners, or someone who offers, low-cost accounting services to startups. Right off the bat, who you are. But then also, what do you do, or what do you offer? So I am Megan, and I can help your business thrive through strategic marketing and public relations. So who I am and what I do right off the bat. You really want to make sure that this is something that has the customer in mind, and it's not all about you. I think too often when we get into that sales mindset, we want to lead with the product, lead with the service, lead with the offering. But instead, we often overlook the customer or the client or the end user. People don't want to be sold to. They want to know that you have their best interest in mind, regardless of what that exchange looks like. And so by immediately jumping to the sale and saying, I can save you $5 this afternoon by signing up on this workshop, or whatever it might be, that's right off the bat a gimmick, and people don't like that. So just don't do that. Think about the problem that you solve, and think about the value that you can lend to that particular potential customer or business development client. So think about that. Don't dive into the sale, but think about how you help that individual. And then lastly, how are you different? You've got to figure out what makes you unique. If you are, and we're just going to keep using this example because it's on my mind and it's easy, but if you use that, that you're in accounting and you offer different services for small business, guess what? If I go Google accounting services for small business, I'm going to find a bazillion different resources I can lean on. So what makes you unique? What makes you different? If you are in a sea or standing in a lineup of 10 different accounting service providers that are in the area, how do you stand out, and why should I care? That's what you've got to nail down. So, and as you're building this pitch, you also want to make sure that you keep it short and sweet, you focus on the essentials, you be positive and persuasive, and you practice, practice, practice. I know this sounds cheesy, but get in front of a mirror and practice to somebody, to yourself, and make sure that you feel comfortable with it. If you're constantly stumbling over your words, or if you're constantly feeling as though it's just awkward, there's tongue twisters, it's just too much, then just simplify it. Don't overdo it, but bounce it off of people that you trust and have your back. That way you can get honest and impactful feedback. So here's a couple of examples of an elevator pitch that I thought would be ideal to share. So the first one: hi, I'm Sally Smith, a virtual assistant who helps busy small business owners get more done in less time to earn more profits. What business activity do you dislike doing the most? So this first one, I love, love, love it so much. And the reason being is that she immediately jumps into who she is, what she does, and then she ends with an open-ended question. So you're automatically engaging that other person to start a discussion. So it's not that, hey, I do this to help business owners get more done in less time to earn more profits. Great. See that there's kind of that awkward pause, right? So someone might respond to that pretty quickly, and others might be like, oh, okay, cool. But if you ask that question, what business activity do you dislike doing the most? That's a great way to engage with others. That way, number one, you can find out what their pain points are. But number two, you can then tailor that conversation around that individual to ensure that you have the most impactful and efficient discussion. Now, here's a second example. Hi, I'm Sally Smith, and I'm an accountant who helps people keep more of their hard-earned money. Last year, I helped my clients save over 6 figures. Here's my card, which lists the top tax deductions most people don't take advantage of. So I love this right off the bat as well, because she also leads with impact. So holy cow, you saved your clients save over 6 figures. That is a ton of money. I don't know about you all, but being in the startup world, that is a lot of money. So that right off the bat blows my mind, because as a business owner, if I think, holy cow, if I could save even a fraction of that, this woman is going to be a great investment. In addition, she takes it one step further with her business card and it lists information on the business card that piques the interest and also plants that seed to that other individual about the services that you offer. I really think that people have undermined the importance and the value of a good business card. We get our business cards ordered from a company called Moo. You got it, Moo, M-O-O. And they have the most beautiful quality of paper that they print their business cards on. And let me tell you guys, I cannot tell you how many times when I have handed out my business card, the immediate response is, oh my God, I love your business card. Where did you get this? And it's not because of how it looks. Of course, I'm biased and I think the design is beautiful, but it's the quality of the card. It makes a lasting impression. And if you were going to be asking that person to invest in you as a partner to help their business thrive, you need to make an impression that is going to last with them. So whether it's high quality paper products or it's taking advantage of that backside of a business card to just give that extra punch and reiterate the value that you can bring to that client, take advantage of it. Okay, so now that you've nailed your elevator pitch and now that you've understand a little bit about the importance of a brand, we're going to talk about how you can actually bring your brand and your company online. Now, granted, I would imagine that a lot of you probably already have a website set up, which is great. And kudos to you. What I'm going to do just for the next couple of minutes and just hit on a couple very, very low cost website options that if you don't have a little bit of a larger budget to dedicate to a website just yet, these are a few options that you can take a look at. Okay, so before you even go down this path though, you've got to ask yourself a couple of questions. What makes your company stand out from its competitors? If your audience could know anything about you just by first impression, what do you want it to be? You guys think about it. We are all have, so many distractions going on in our world. You've got probably less than 3 seconds to make an impression on someone when they get to your website. Don't bury the great information. Don't make them go search and dig for it. Put it front and center and call it out. If you are an accounting firm, big whoop. Why you? Why your business? You want to lead with that right off the bat. That way, and maybe as soon as you get to the site, it is on average, we save our clients, $22,000 per year. Boom, right off the bat. And then it's, accounting services for small business. That is an impact that is made right off the bat. And regardless of what kind of service provider you are, I know as a business owner that I want to save on average $22,000 a year. So that's going to immediately hook me in to continue to stay on your site and learn a little bit more. You've also got to understand who your audience is and what you're trying to achieve and what they actually care about. So you can't make your site with your product or service at the forefront. You have to build your site around your customer and your potential customer. So what type of information are they often looking for? What's their biggest pain point that you can address right off the bat? If these are answers that you don't know, then you need to do some market research to understand that first. If you've got a couple of customers that have come on board in the early stages of your business and you have a great relationship with them, these are conversations that you need to sit down and talk to them about. Do not make any assumptions about what they care about, what they're looking for, and what matters to them most. You know what happens when you make an assumption. There's a good chance you're going to get it wrong. So don't do that. This is not the time to make assumptions. Ask those questions and build the website and any other communication options that you have for your business around your actual customer. So answer a couple of questions like this. Who's your customer? What are their pain points? And what info are they seeking? You need to understand that if you are targeting a younger couple with no kids who are between the ages of 25 and 32, because that's your sweet spot, that's what you have found has been your sweet spot in your business, you need to know that. If you're just guesstimating on who your audience is, you're going to invest a lot of money that's going to go wasted, and you're going to spin your wheels trying to figure out why your business is not doing well. So spend that time up front on this research to make sure you feel very, very confident. That way you can adequately build a product and service offering built around those types of things. Okay, so First things first, when you jump into building your website, you want to grab your domain, select your web provider, pick a template you love, customize your site, and promote the heck out of it. So there are a couple different website options that you can choose from. We are going to be covering off on Wix, Weebly, and Squarespace today. There are, and again, this is just real skimming the surface of this. We would recommend building something a little bit more robust, which has a little bit more scalability for your business. We love WordPress. We use it all the time. It just has a lot of functionality built into it. And it gives a lot more options than some of these other websites do. So, but head over to GoDaddy.com or something comparable and figure out what your domain should be, whether it's megannivenstanit.com or it's accounting services for small business.com, whatever the case. Just jump over there and take a look. Okay, so Wix. Wix is a great website provider. Fun fact, we used it when we started our business. I did not know really too much about website development, but I felt as though if I got a website built, that I was a legit business. So, which, note to self, is not the case. But it definitely made me feel a little bit more confident about the path forward of what we were doing for the business. So we started with Wix because I'd heard about it. It looked pretty and it seemed to have a lot of great features that we could leverage. It is good. It's all right. There's a lot of templates to choose from. It has a pretty simple and intuitive interface that allows you to customize things to an extent. There's a lot of different plugins and add-ons that you can incorporate into the site, and you can get a site up and running very, very quickly for free if you wanted it to. But if you want to remove some of the branding from the site, you can do so for about $13 to $15 per month, which is pretty affordable. Some of the cons to Wix, though, is that it's a little bit clunky, which I don't like. The more add-ins and plugins you add to the site, for example, if you want an e-commerce option, or if you want a social promotion box option, or if you want, a particular type of photo gallery, or some of those customization type of things, a lot of them come with a slightly different look and feel than the templates that Wix offers. So what that lends to is again kind of a clunky site that looks like it was sort of patchwork together. Now, granted, there are beautiful sites that can be made in Wix, don't get me wrong, but I just want to be honest with you about some of those pros and cons. But it's very simple. You can get it spun up very, very quickly, and I would definitely recommend entertaining it. Another one is Squarespace, and Squarespace was what we were showcasing in the video a couple of slides ago. Out of all of these three sites, if you're looking for something that's very low cost and affordable to get started, Squarespace would be what I would recommend. It was really designed using an eye of design. They've really, really focused on making it beautiful and clean and sleek and lots of white space, which lends to just a more beautiful, seamless user experience, to be honest with you. There's not as many templates as some other website providers, but the ones that they do have are beautiful, and you can customize them to an extent, but you can really make them yours. The interface for Squarespace, as far as the editor goes, is also pretty intuitive and very user-friendly. The beauty of today's world is that you can jump on YouTube and check out a tutorial within 30 seconds if you don't know how to do something. And Squarespace definitely will help with that. They've got a lot of great resources as well. A couple of cons with Squarespace, again, they don't have as many templates to choose from. And the interface, although great, it's just a little bit more complex to learn. But again, roll up your sleeves, take a couple of courses, and before you know it, you'll be doing great in no time. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Weebly. Weebly is also a really good website user that you can be able to build from, a website platform that you can use. And there, again, lots of templates to choose from, very intuitive interface. It's really great for e-commerce if you're looking to use it for that. One of the things I liked about Weebly as well is that they have a really good back-end newsletter and lead data capture system, as opposed to the other two, which I just prefer, me personally. So if that's going to be a really heavy piece of your marketing efforts, I would definitely consider that. Now, within Weebly, you do have some limitations around how you can customize the templates, which kind of stinks. The design itself built around the templates is not as sleek and clean as Squarespace is. So you kind of have that little bit of a clunky look to it, but still, it's a great option and affordable for sure. Okay, so once you determine, you've got your brand nailed down, you've got your elevator pitch going. You've got, how you're going to actually build your website, and you've done some of your customer research. Now you need to get your business up on social media. So before we jump into just giving you a high level glimpse into a couple of these social media platforms, I'm going to talk about the top 5 rules of social. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that if you are looking to learn a little bit more about individual social media platforms, for example, Facebook, and you really want to dive into Facebook, you're not interested in Instagram, you're not interested in TikTok, we also offer webinar deep dives on individual platforms. So be sure to check out our website under the resources section. Just head on over to flourishconsultingservices.com under resources, and you'll see all of the free webinars that we have there that you can dive into. Don't worry, we won't spam you, I promise. We'll simply sign you up for the most beautiful email newsletter that you'll get. Just kidding, but it's pretty great. And it just keeps you in the loop with all the great content that we push out in order to help local area businesses thrive. Okay, so the top 5 rules of social media. Number 1, please, please, please just pick one platform and give it 100%. I can't tell you how many people we've run into who have a presence on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. They're also on Vimeo. They're all over the place. And the reality is, you guys, unless you have an entire army of individuals who are supporting your social media efforts, how the heck do you actually think you're going to effectively run those social media accounts? There is no way. It is way too hard. And oh, by the way, you don't want to promote content on Facebook and then just mirror the same exact type of content on every single other platform just for the sake of being present. That is not what you want to do. You've got to have an individual, unique, tailored strategy for each social media platform. So stick with one, do it really, really well, and then begin to branch out. How do you know which one you should be on? That should all start from your customer research. So once you determine who your customers are, where they spend their time, how they love to communicate, that's going to direct where you should be putting your social media efforts. Rule number 2, it's more than just posting consistently, but it's about the quality of your posts. There's nothing more that I hate than social media posts that fills up your feed that is just nonsense and garbage. Like, that can do way more harm to your brand than good. So if you have nothing important and value added to say, then don't say it, period. The Facebook algorithm specifically does not like content that is of low quality and doesn't have high engagement. So if your content is garbage, guess what? No one's going to see it to begin with, but it's going to impact your overarching strategy that you have on Facebook as a whole. So you need to make sure that you focus on quality versus quantity. Number 3, make sure you know your audience. You've got to be able to give them the information that they are looking for at the right time. So again, going back to your market research, going back to understanding your customer, what their pain points are, your content strategy for social media should be built around those needs and those pain points. Rule number 4, if you want engagement, you have got to engage. You can't just think that you can just go post and publish all of your content out on social media and then the world is just going to come to you naturally. That's not how things work, guys. You've got to engage. You've got to chime in, like other posts, comment on a photo, give a shout out to your clients and or your business development partners and or your team members for that matter. People want to be engaged and they want to be engaged with. This also impacts how Facebook recognizes whether or not your content is of high quality and serves it up to more people. The higher your engagement, the more people are going to see it. And number 5, be true to yourself and your brand. Please, please, please do this. Please don't spend any time on Photoshop. Please don't use those filters that everybody knows is not a real replication of what your face actually looks like. People don't want to engage with a Photoshopped person. They want to engage with someone that they can relate to and is authentic and true to themselves, not somebody that doesn't act like a real person. So just be yourself. Trust me, the more you are yourself, the more people are going to fall in love with you. I promise. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the 3 platforms that we love most for business. This is hands down, my favorite is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the absolute best place to be when you need to connect with other business professionals, period. So I know you guys are probably familiar with LinkedIn, but just for the sake of this discussion, LinkedIn is the all-in-one, super hyped up, good quality networking event, but online. So it really allows you to engage with other people, jump in on conversations, showcase your expertise, publish articles, connect with people who are, like-minded, just like you. Oh, but then by the way, it also allows you to showcase your business in a very unique way that people may not be able to get alone from your website. It's also a great way to showcase your employees and what sort of talent your team has that can be brought to the table when you score a new client. It also allows you to recruit high-level quality candidates and be able to search for those that are going to be ideal for your business. So here are the top 3 things that we love for LinkedIn. So this, again, number 1, it allows your company to showcase its culture to an audience that it may not get that type of traction to. So there's a lot of great things that you can do to build out your company page and profile, to adding videos, to showing culture videos, to talking about your benefits. It really gives potential employees and or potential clients and business development partners a sneak peek into your organization as a whole. And so LinkedIn is a great outlet to be able to showcase that as much as you can. Also, it's a great place for your, as I mentioned before, for your employees to shine, where they can flex their muscles and they can talk about the certain industry areas that they are experts at. But again, all sort of tying back to your company. Secondly, what we love about it is that it really helps propel your expertise to the next level. So again, you can post, in essence, what look like blog posts from within LinkedIn and have that connected to your personal account. You can jump into discussions that are happening that are using hashtags relevant to your business and start to really, again, flex your muscles in that discussion to say, well, in my opinion or in my perspective or from my experience, here's what I've seen work in relation to this topic that's being discussed. And you get to get yourself and your name and your brand out there in front of an audience that you may never have been able to engage with before, ever. LinkedIn is also a great place to organically build content and build traction. It hasn't been convoluted with the digital advertising world that has already saturated and hit Facebook. It hasn't, been impacted the way that Instagram has been impacted with digital ads and what that experience looks like. Thankfully, LinkedIn has not made it to that side of the digital world yet. So it's very ripe for opportunity to create great content, build an organic audience, and ultimately expand your network. And then last but not least, our top 3 for LinkedIn, why we love it so much, is it's a great way to recruit top candidates. There's a couple different subscription options that you as an individual and business professional can subscribe to through LinkedIn, whether it's free or it's an elevated profile that gives you a bit more access into things. It all depends on really what the goal of using this platform is for you. If you work in sales and you're trying to build out a sales team that covers the country, LinkedIn is going to be a great opportunity for you to help find those individuals that meet the criteria that you are looking for. It also allows potential employees to market themselves and let employers know that they are open to business and open to work and open to employment. You can also indicate that you're open to being on a board position with a particular organization or a volunteer position. So it's a great way for people to be able to promote themselves, whether it be a potential employee or an employer. And then LinkedIn really gives you the platform to be able to bridge that gap and bring those two together. Okay, we're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about Instagram. So Instagram has been a wildly popular social media platform. It is owned by Facebook. I would imagine that these stats that I have on here are already outdated, to be completely frank, because the numbers on Instagram are just growing by the millisecond. So a lot of people spend a lot of time on Instagram, and it's a phenomenal tool that really allows you to do a lot of cool things. I feel like they're always coming out with new features and functionality that really allow you to position and differentiate your brand and have a lot of fun on the social media platform. We love Instagram. And what we love most about it is that it's a visually captivating platform and really allows you to be to be creative with what you can do. It's a great platform to be able to engage with other businesses and potential customers and existing customers as well, which I love. You see a lot of dialogue going back and forth on Instagram, tagging other people, using particular hashtags that are relevant to your business, and just really allows you to have a lot of fun, as opposed to something like LinkedIn, where you can still have fun, but it's a bit more professional. It also allows for a lot of customized branding opportunities. So it allows you to really, again, give a sneak peek into your business and showcase really what you're all about through storytelling. Whether you're doing IGTV or you're using Reels, or you're just using a post with a filter and some, different, little things on it to make it spark a little bit. There's a lot of things that you can do here to really help elevate your business through a visually captivating way. And then, of course, lastly, we would not be able to have this discussion talking about marketing if we didn't talk about the behemoth in the room, which is Facebook. So love it or hate it, doesn't matter. Facebook is wildly popular and has so many people on it worldwide. So statistics have shown, believe it or not, that when someone is looking to do research on a business, they do one of two things. They either Google you or they go to check you out on Facebook. So if you are not on Google, guess what? Your butt better be on Facebook. That's for sure. And regardless, if you are a business, you should have a presence on Facebook, unless you are an online business and have really put a lot of your equity into a different type of platform. And that's where most of your business is done. Having a presence on Facebook business is really, really important. And whether you love it or hate it, it's a phenomenal, robust tool that really allows you to drill down, especially when it comes to advertising and finding your target audience, that other platforms really just can't compete with. So the top three things that we love about Facebook is it really helps to engage people, and really gets them to understand who you are as a business, from a culture, from your products and services to your expertise. With Facebook, you can really do it all. I kind of feel like, LinkedIn is super, super heavy on educational, expertise, company culture, recruitment. Instagram is really fun, flirty, day-to-day, short snippets of what's going on. And then Facebook kind of falls in the middle for me, because I feel like you can have that professional, informative, engaging content, but you can also have a little bit of fun with Facebook as well. So I love the fact that, Facebook in essence is your digital brick and mortar store. So think about it in that regard. If you had a physical storefront in your downtown area that you want people to come into and have an experience on, guess what? You can create that on your Facebook business page. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a great way for people to really get a peek at who you are. That way they can start to build relationships with you. Another thing that we love about Facebook, and again, it's a love-hate relationship. I'm just going to be honest with you. But love-hate relationships, it's all good. It's all good as long as we recognize how we can maximize it and use it to our benefit, and don't let the flip side of the coin suck the life out of you too much. We'll be good. But the last thing that we love so much about Facebook is that there's so much built-in functionality within the platform that you just can't get anywhere else. Whether you're using a chatbot through Messenger, or you're creating private groups for conversation, or you're doing Facebook Live, or you're engaging on stories, whatever the case might be, there's so many different things that you can use within the Facebook Business Manager that a lot of people are barely scratching the surface on. So definitely tune in for our Facebook deep dive if you need to learn a little bit more about this. But the targeting and the functionality and the capability behind this platform is really unlike anything else. So love it for that reason, for sure. But wait, before you ever get on any social platform, you have got to develop a strategy, y'all. Come on. We are all about the strategy. Strategy is our middle name. If the number of times that I say the word strategy or strategic marketing in a day, man, if I had a nickel for every time, I think I'd be totally loaded. But guess what? I would still be doing this podcast because I love it so much. So you cannot achieve any of this stuff unless you have got a plan. I absolutely did not come up with this phrase. Don't know who did, but I love it so much. And in essence, it is failure to plan is planning to fail. I'll say that one more time. Failure to plan is planning to fail. So if you do not have a plan written down, backed up with research, and you roll up your sleeves and put the sweat equity needed into developing an accurate and effective marketing strategy, you are going to be wasting a ton of money. So this does not need to be a 50-page document. It can be a 1-page document. I don't care, but just do it. You've got to figure out what your objectives are. What are you trying to achieve with your business? And it doesn't matter if you started up yesterday or you started up 10 years ago. If you don't have a cohesive marketing strategy that is guiding your efforts, what the heck are you doing? So what are your key objectives? Who is your target? Who is your audience? Who are you going after? Where do they spend their time? That way you know what platform you need to be investing in. How much money are you able to spend with your marketing budget? And then you lay out your tactics and figure out what you can do. Now, this is an example, just a very small example of some marketing tactics that can help you reach your audience. So whether it be through video development or search engine optimization, where you're driving traffic to your website by creating great content, using the SEO tools that are built into some of the existing website platforms, really updating and refreshing your content often. Make sure you've got that Google business page set up, that way people can find you. All of those things are going to contribute to your SEO. You could be doing an email marketing campaign that you've set up. You can be active on social media. You can be doing some public relations, where if you've got a great news story that you want, people in your community to know about in order to build your brand, but also highlight some of the good that you're doing, public relations is where it's at, dude. You guys need to reach out to local area media, engage with them, share a story. Don't make it about you, make it about them, and then get yourself on the news. It's a lot easier than it seems, I promise. Traditional media, is it a print publication? Is it a billboard ad? Believe it or not, based on the publication and or the outlet that you're looking at, those things can be absolutely effective. You've just got to figure out and make sure that it aligns with your audience and where your audience is. That way you can reach them. Memberships. Are you a member of the Chamber? Are you a member of the Catalyst? Are you a member of any other organization that helps to fuel your passion? If not, do it. And I've been reading this book lately, and one of the things that they keep talking about is if you happen to find yourself in a room with other people that you are networking with, and you are the smartest person in the room, guess what, guys? You're probably in the wrong room. So you need to politely exit and go into another room where you feel like you are the underdog and you feel like you are the least experienced person in that room. Why? Because you can learn from those individuals. Keep an open mind, have those discussions, put yourself out there. That way you're constantly thriving and growing, and memberships with key organizations can really make that happen. Does your business host events? Great. Let's have an event. Let's promote it, invite people, engage. Chatbots is another great feature that you can use for any sort of social media or digital engagement. They allow you, in essence, to automatically control some of those communication messages that will go out, whether it be through texting or through social media. Be careful with chatbots because they can make some mistakes, but if you need help streamlining and automating some of the responses and engagement for maybe frequently asked questions, for example, a chatbot would be a great idea for that. And then a blog. We always recommend having a blog on your website or something comparable that just allows you to write content around areas that you are an expert at. This is a great way for people not only to find you just through Google search, but also for them to get to know you, your expertise, what you care about, just to make sure that their vision for what they're seeking aligns with you as an individual. Okay, so as we close this out, we wanted to just give you guys a couple of tips that we love so much that might make your job a little bit easier as you ignite your marketing. So a lot of people get overwhelmed with social media. So did you know that you can schedule out a lot of your social media? There's a lot of different schedulers that are out there on the market today. Of course, there is not a perfect one across the board. They all have their pros and cons. We personally use a platform called Hootsuite, which is great. Sometimes it really makes us angry, but for the most part, it's great. Again, it's that whole love-hate relationship, right? But it really does a great job, and it allows us to manage and monitor multiple social media accounts at the same time, which just really streamlines things. So don't think that you've got to be on social media every single day. Now, granted, going back to that point earlier that I made of being able to engage, you can't just schedule things out and then never jump on that platform to engage with your audience. So don't let this replace that opportunity to engage. Speaking of engage, you want to make sure that you are engaging your audience. So a lot of people also think that email marketing is dead. Well, I have news for you guys. It is not. And it's actually very, very wildly popular. But what a lot of people get wrong about email marketing is that they don't focus on the quality of content as opposed to the quantity. Okay, so you need to focus on quality. Give your audience something that they can't get elsewhere. Give your audience knowledge that you think maybe at some point you want to put a price tag on, but you're giving it to them for free. You want to educate your audience, build trust with your audience, have them look forward to getting that email from you, and really, really be able to get a lot out of that content. It's super, super important. You also want to have direct outreach, obviously. Social media and all that stuff is great, but make sure that you maximize those things as much as you possibly can. And also too, we didn't talk about this too much, but if you are an e-commerce business, there's a lot of e-commerce plugins that you can use, which will really help to make your life a whole lot easier. So they're not as hard as a lot of people think that they are. So just do some research around that and you'll be able to figure out some great tools for e-commerce. And then lastly, I wanted to just include this up here as a couple different tools that we love so much, automation tools. Mixmax, which is a Gmail plugin. It really allows you to send a lot of emails at one time, but everything is customized, which is awesome. And there's so many features built into Mixmax that you can maximize if you have a Gmail account. MailChimp, Constant Contact, Active Campaign, those are all CRMs and email automation tools, which are phenomenal. Google Alerts, if you're tracking a potential partner or business that you're wanting to do business with, you can set up a Google alert. That way, anytime that business is mentioned in the news or someone from their company is mentioned in the news, you'll get an email alert. That way you can act on that right off the bat and maybe send that point of contact, hey, kudos on winning that big piece of business, or congratulations on joining this team, whatever it might be. There's a couple of other tools here that you can take a look at, but we love all of these. One thing I will say on the right-hand side under branding is there's a tool called Canva. So if you're not familiar with Canva, it is a graphic design tool for the non-graphic designer. It is phenomenal and has saved us so much time. I'll be honest with y'all, I took a couple Adobe classes back in the day. It's really complicated. It's not easy. And guess what? It's also expensive. So we use Adobe all the time, but we also use Canva as a complement to it. And it really allows people like me who are not as technical and well-versed in the Adobe platform to create beautiful things, such as the presentation that otherwise would have taken a really long time. Okay, so again, I'm so glad that you guys were able to join us today for Ignite Your Marketing. I do want to give a shout out to the I2C. They are an amazing team, and this is just one of many podcasts that we have that are going to be airing over the next couple of weeks. The next one is really around building your brand. We talk about marketing strategy. We talk about a little bit more on social media, and then we do a couple deep dives on Facebook, on Canva. And then we also talk about one of my favorites is marketing versus public relations. So a lot of people don't understand the difference between the two. And having a really good understanding of both of those will help you delineate how you can maximize both for your business. So again, if you guys ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team. You can always contact us at hello@flourishconsultingservices.com. And please feel free to follow us on all social media. Hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Peace out.